right. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'd like to talk about my GA haul from the PCA General Assembly 2026. So for those of you who have stumbled on my channel, you may not realize that I'm involved as a volunteer for the AC committee for the Presbyterian Church of America. My wife Emily and I travel to wherever the GA is every year. We do volunteer stuff, and some of you may know that I have affectionately become known, at least in social media, as Clicker Guy. I'll drop a clip here. But one of the things I really enjoy doing during GA is visiting the book tables. So there's a big expo hall, just like a lot of other general assemblies, where there's a lot of colleges and seminaries and ministries and also book publishers. And I tend to go nuts. I tend to spend way more money than I should. And my wife typically has over the years considered this to be my Father's Day present for that particular year. So what I'd like to do in this video is go over a lot of the things that I picked up this year. Little note before we go into this, none of these books are for sale. Well, with maybe one exception. We'll get to that in a minute, but I just want to kind of show you what I picked up and talk about why I like them and et cetera. So I'm going to get started with a book that Greenville Seminary actually published. I didn't realize that they had actually they publish books, but they published this book. It's a little large, so I'm going to hide behind it for a second. But this is a harmony of the Westminster Confessions and Catechisms, and it's really neat because as you flip through the book, what you'll notice is that there are 3 columns per page. There's one for the Westminster Confession of Faith, one for the larger catechism, and one for the shorter catechism. And basically what they do is they align each question and answer or section with the equivalent section from the other catechism. So it's really nice. I'm going to show off some pictures here. The only problem that I had with it is that I feel like there's a lot of trapped white space on a lot of the pages, and there could be a little more room for some of the scripture proofs. It would be nice to have the verses there to just kind of read as you kind of go along. One of the things I do really like about it is the design. It is large, it's huge, but the graphics are really nice. The dust jacket feels really good. I particularly appreciate, if I can get this book to cooperate with me, the actual end papers. The design of the end papers, I'll probably do a better job, kind of showing that off to you a little bit. But that's Greenville Seminary's contribution. I'm very excited about that and can't wait. I've already kind of started using it in my personal study. So I'm going to go with 2 books at once here. And this was basically related to some podcast episodes that I've listened to recently from the Westminster podcast. And these episodes are about John Murray, specifically about the book Redemption Accomplished and Applied. This particular edition of it is brand new this year, and it's available. It was available at the Westminster Seminary booth, and it's a great edition of this book. This book is not new by any stretch of the imagination, but I, again, really like the design. It's a nice hardcover. I went ahead and bought, while I was thinking about Murray, the Life of Murray. So I call this book affectionately Murray on Murray, because it's a biography of John Murray, and I thought these would be nice to kind of read together. When it comes to church history, I'm a little bit of a sucker for the whole Princeton Theological Seminary arc, especially like learning about the original Princeton Seminary dons, if you will, or professors. But I think last year at GA, I bought the Stonehouse version of Machen's biography, and I also have the Ligonier, the most recent Ligonier edition of Christianity and Liberalism. So this kind of goes into that pile. There was another book, and this was being handed out to commissioners in their commissioner bags, but I have a copy of it here as well. So this is Justification and Regeneration, Practical Writings on Saving Faith. This is by John Witherspoon. And if you're looking, in my opinion, for a good book to read for America 250, even if you feel like you're late because it's after July 4th, still a good book to read. Witherspoon was a pastor in early America known for influencing a lot of our founders. And so this includes some of his writings and sermons on redemption, really good book in my opinion. Okay, back on the whole church history, biography, good writings of a person kick. So I've seen this biography. This is not in the Princeton arc, but I've seen this biography of Ryle. It's a nice small biography again by Iain Murray. I like Iain Murray. I like his writing. I like his writing style. And then this again is another one. These are neat because they have great in papers with these beautiful pictures. Um, Here's another really neat one, I think, in my opinion. I love like old comics, old like kind of design drawings, kind of things like this too. And of course, if you're going to read Ryle, I actually got some advice on this while I was there. If you're going to read Ryle, he's obviously has a lot of really good writings, a lot of good books. And where you should get started, and where I'm going to get started anyway, at least this is my advice, is this copy of Holiness by Ryle. And then, of course, he has several others that you can kind of identify by similar cover designs as well, if you want to go down a J.C. Ryle rabbit hole. One of the things I want to do a video on, speaking of like biographies of famous people in church history, I really am a huge fan of Spurgeon. One of the things we're going to get to at some point is a rabbit hole on Spurgeon, a whole video on Spurgeon, which I'd like to show off my copy of Spurgeon sermons. I believe it's a first edition. It seems to me, looking at it, it is rare. It is not for sale either. Neither is this next set of books that I bought. I have a couple of Spurgeon biographies, but I picked up some this year that I just hadn't actually seen before, and I actually may not have paid attention to, and just haven't picked up. The first one is this one, which from all accounts and from everything I read, including in the Forgotten Spurgeon and other places like that, this is sort of the OG biography, right? So this is Spurgeon, a biography by Arnold Dallimore. I thought this was a more recent Spurgeon biography. Apparently, it's not. This is a little bit older and dated. This is a paperback, but I can't wait to dive into that, as well as this 2-volume autobiography. I did not realize that Spurgeon wrote an autobiography. So there's 2 volumes. Again, this is Banner of Truth biographies as well. And of course, they have the traditional Banner of Truth. Kind of design on the spine, which I'm a huge fan of. I think these look really good together on the shelf. And so those 2 biographies, or at least that 2-volume biography. And then the last book that I'd like to talk about here real quick is a work called The Wonderful Works of God by Herman Bavinck. Now, I know that a lot of pastors and a lot of teaching elders, ruling elders, people who have big libraries like me, they like the 4-volume Bavinck, and that is a classic. But a lot of people are like a lot of other things, kind of intimidated by 4 books. Like, why should I read 4 like 500 plus page books? And what this is this is Bavinck's own work where he has distilled his larger work, right? So I haven't really delved into Bavinck that much, but I think this might make Bavinck more approachable. And so I'm really looking forward to getting into this book. Again, great design on the dust jacket carried through to the actual cover itself on the cloth. Really neat. I'm sorry. I love that kind of thing. I'm a sucker for all that. So anyway, this is my GA haul. I look forward to maybe doing some more videos in the future covering these books when I read them. So be on the lookout for those. See ya. When it comes to church history, he's got some things to say. He wants to share his opinions. When it comes, okay.